Ooh, this is exotic. Muscle Cat Media. Nice. Cultural.
Back on the Baseball Expats for a special Monday episode. Big episode upcoming. If you read the description, you know that. Not only are we going to talk a little bit of baseball, Spoon will give us some picks, but also it'll be Destiny Draft round number 2. A special guest will join us a little bit later on in the show, and we will break a couple of packs and do our second Destiny Draft. But before we do that, I'll say good day to the boys. Spoon and Eric, how are we, fellas?
What is up? Watching the Blue Jays sustain another crazy injury. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, my D-backs got swept over the weekend, which kind of proved a lot of the naysayers wrong when they said you just beat the Giants and the Rockies. Now we got 4 at home against the Dodgers, staring down the barrel of a 7-game losing streak. You could say the next 10 days are pretty important.
That is crazy Diamondbacks baseball, man.
Rocks and Diamondbacks.
Got walked off twice in a series that you get swept in, and went 3 for 17 with Risp yesterday and 2 for 14 today. Not good.
I do want to talk a little bit about the Jays and how unlucky they have been in terms of injuries. I mean, we may touch on Murakami as well. He suffered an injury over the weekend and a few other things. But and just talking about our teams, I mean, you've mentioned the Diamondbacks and the Blue Jays there. I just want to get on my soapbox again for another 90 seconds because Cardinals-Cubs this weekend was fucking awesome. It was packed at Busch Stadium because it always is when those two teams meet. It doesn't matter if either of them are good, if both of them are good. It just doesn't matter. And they used to play each other 19 times, and now we only get to see the Cubs at Busch Stadium 6 times a year. Like watching that entire series this weekend only just strengthened my view that, yes, I understand why we have the balanced schedule, but is it watering down rivalries in baseball a little bit too much? Because
No.
Busch Stadium has not been that packed all season. And it hasn't been really since this new schedule format came into play. And yes, it coincides. And I mean, I'm talking out of my fandom here a little bit. It coincides with the fact that the Cardinals just haven't been good. But that hasn't mattered in the past. When they haven't been good and they've been a 500 team, when they play the Cubs on a weekend series in May, June, or July, it just doesn't matter. There's 40,000 people there. And we saw that this weekend. And again, small sample size. Both teams are good. Both teams are exciting. Young players, superstars, all that. But as I was watching it, I was just like, why don't I get to watch this 20 times a year? Why do I have to watch the Cardinals go to Anaheim or Sacramento and play the A's in front of 14,000 people when we should get this more often? I just thought it was a great spectacle for baseball. Maybe if the Cardinals had gotten swept in 2 walk-offs against the Cubs, I would have told them to F off and not come back to Busch Stadium, and I don't want to see them again. But the fact that they took 2 or 3 at Busch, and it was electric. I mean, even the Cubs win with PCA hitting a home run into the tarps off section while they were chanting overrated. Like, that's awesome, and that's the kind of stuff that rivalries are made of. And that's the stuff that we love about baseball. So I was just sitting there thinking, like, why do I have to savor these moments? And maybe it is. Maybe the fact that they are...
Yes.
You've
nailed
lightning, it. Flash in a pan moments now that we have to
Quality over
really
quantity.
dig in. Yeah, we have to really dig in.
I 100% agree with almost everything you're saying, right? Like, it was awesome. I was flipping through the highlights. It looked great. And Busch Stadium looked like a freaking vibe. And it must have been so fun to experience that if you're there. But I actually think that it is a great thing that they now make it 2 weekends where your biggest rival comes to town. Just 2. And you're on the road for 2 as well. Too much of something, I think, kind of waters down the value and the product of what it is. Like, it's just going to make it more special. Like, that rivalry is not going anywhere. Like, the change in the schedule and the format isn't going to make St. Louis and Chicago less of a rival. If anything, it's going to make it more of a rival. I think you want to be left with the feeling in life of things that you wanted more of and that you're not getting tired of and that there's not too many games. I think it's going to make it way more special, right? You take a look at the AFL. Let's use an AFL reference again, right? You have the Showdown here. They play it twice a year. If they played one more time, it wouldn't be as special. If anything, the Showdown 2 times a year, I think, is almost too much. Like, I actually think it would be better. I understand why they do it 2, home and away. But it would be better if they just played 1 time a year because it's kind of lost its luster a little bit. It feels way better when they just play each other once. It's just this rare moment where the biggest rivals collide. So I do understand the feeling of wanting more of a good thing, but I think what makes a good thing sometimes is that quality that you're getting over the quantity, and you just appreciate that so much more, and you can turn it into a positive. Like, you do get to enjoy, everybody has to play the Athletics, like, cool. Everybody has to play the Angels, that's fine. But on the flip side, now you have more opportunities from an AL perspective to see the Dodgers come into town, to see Ronald Acuna more often, to see Aaron Judge more often if you're the Cardinals, to see Spencer Miles if you're the St. Louis Cardinals wanting to see the Toronto Blue Jays, all these superstar players that you get to see. So I do understand what you're saying. I think it is a valid feeling. However, I think less is more in this case. I really, really do.
And the flip side to that, Rolsey, is some of us are in divisions where we've been punished by the same evil overlord for a long time. And it's not a bad thing to not see the Dodgers
Yankees
20 times a year where they come and the home field advantage doesn't exist because there's a lot of LA fans that don't live in LA, and all of a sudden it's 70% Dodgers fans in the crowd while they sweep you over a 4-game set like we're going to see over the next 4 days. So I think, there are some storied rivals that are probably seeing a little bit less of each other, but there's plenty of other teams that are happy about the balanced schedule, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, and look, I do think that's valid. I guess, Eric, just to your point that the rivalries aren't going anywhere, I guess we do have to remember that these rivalries have been built on the fact that they have played each other so many times in the past. It's like the Cardinals and Cubs, I think, have historically played, they said what it was this weekend. It's something like 3,000 games against each other. And the win-loss is like 20 games above 500 for one of the teams and 20 games below 500 for the other team. And in the 1,600 or 1,600 games that they played against each other, the 3,000 something games they played against each other, right? So it's outrageous. That's where those rivalries come from. So that's, I guess, is my worry, is if you just don't see those teams as much over time, if that continues, do those rivalries mean as much? And again, look, I'm not naive. I understand the business of baseball, and I get why they've done it. But I found myself watching all weekend, unable to take my eyes off it, because I was just like, this is awesome. Like we should. There's
a much better chance though,
but
these teams can meet in the playoffs now, right? Like when the balanced schedule was in place, we had 2 wildcard teams that played a best of 1, and that was it. Now there's like genuine pathways for a Cubs Cardinals NLDS, which maybe offsets a bit of that, because as much as rivalries can be built on 20 times a year for 150 years, they can be built on 2 epic postseason series as well, right?
But also, not even sports builds rivalries, right? Like the Adelaide Crows and Port Adelaide, to go back to that local example, they're not rivals because of a great game and a series that happened before. They're rivals because of geopolitical reasons in the history of one entry's team into the other in the league, right?
A boardroom,
right? Yeah, one's a boardroom, one's actually culture. Anyways, but it's the same with Chicago and St. Louis, right? Like that rivalry is built on 2 rivalries of 2 American cities that were kind of going through the same birth at the same time, and Chicago overpassed St. Louis in a lot of ways and has the glitz and glam, but St. Louis doesn't think so. There's the St. Louis-Chicago Railroad. There's bootlegging history in there. Then you add the sports rivals. Like those sports rivalries are built on a rivalry between cities as well. It's the same in my hockey town. Guelph and Kitchener will always be rivals because they're close to each other. The cities have the same kind of background. They do like each other, but when it comes to a chance to be rivals with each other, you jump on it. So I think there's a lot more to a rivalry than just that. Like LA and New York will always have a big rivalry, and they literally don't get to play each other much at all. And it's only because they both think they're the center of the universe, right? Like that's where the rivalries are born. And that's why you can't manufacture these rivalries, because it comes out of things outside of sport. So I don't think you have to worry about the St. Louis and Chicago rivalry going away.
Yeah, I'm definitely not worried about it. Like I said, it was just me yearning to be able to have more of that over the summer. But maybe you're right. That absence makes the heart grow fonder. Look, I'm just conscious of time because I know
that I can understand.
We've got a big episode today. And look, I want to talk about some of the injuries across baseball, and Eric specifically with your Blue Jays. But Spoon, before we do that, let's talk about a guy who's come back from injury, and friend of the podcast, a guy we all love. He played in Australia as a 16-year-old. We knew he was going to be a superstar, and you thought he was going to win the American League MVP last year, and Ronald Acuna, he's still playing in the National League. But God, is it fun to see him back playing baseball and playing baseball at a level that maybe we haven't seen from him in the last 3 years. He's swiping bags. He's hitting bombs. He looks like the Ronnie of old in the last couple weeks.
I can't think of a player more electric, maybe with the exception of Ohtani, since that Tatis season we spoke about the other day, when he was hitting a home run, what felt like every AB. Like, there are some incredible players in the sport, but as far as like pure 5-tool guy who can literally do all 5 things with the best of them, Acuna's got to be right up there. And if you look at some of the moments he has, like, I think he's got something like 15 home runs that are on the first pitch of a game. Like, no one's ever going to be able to match that factor because he hits leadoff, but he hits with so much power and so much speed. He is must-watch TV at all times. And yeah, I'm stoked to see him back at what looks like some of the best we've seen from him across all of those 5 tools, especially the run, which, they could have been really cautious with him. I'm not sure Ronald Acuna knows how to play at less than 100%. And even if they tried to tell him, he might not listen. But he is, must watch.
Yeah, look, I mean, he's had 7 hits in this past week. He's driven in 10. I mean, I don't know how many bags he's stolen. At one point in the same on-base stint, he stole second and third on the weekend, which was awesome.
He's stolen 5 in the last 5 games, which is nuts.
And I think we were all worried about coming back from injury. Would he be hesitant? But it's like, he's got to play his game, right? Like, if he can be Ronnie, he's got to be Ronnie, because that's who he is. He doesn't know any difference. He's a high-risk, high-reward guy, and that's where that electricity comes from. Speaking of that, just I had totally forgotten about it, but Eric did say on this program that he was going to avalanche Fernando Tatis Jr. on Friday, who hit a home run in his second game of the weekend. So we probably should tip our cap to you, Eric. I know you didn't back it. You said you were going to, but you called it anyways.
We kill all kinds of streaks here. Good streaks, bad streaks. Like, we're open for business. Just give us a call.
Hey, we're going to be Destiny drafting later on today. We were talking kind of off air about the Diamondbacks also just being terrible all of a sudden. I wonder what Corbin and Moreno would have this last week for you if the Destiny draft was altered by 1 week.
Yeah, I feel like Corbin might have held his own, but Gabby definitely not.
However, okay, but on the theme of injuries, boys, I have a quick trivia question for you. Rolsey's normally the trivia guy, so I'll ask this one quickly. How much money in the MLB is on an injured list right now, this second?
The entire league or one?
Entire league. How much money? This for yearly salary.
For this season? Okay. $450 million.
Rolsey?
Well, what did we say? The yearly league-wide, we said this on the program the other day. I think it's $6 billion throughout the league total. What? Is it $5 billion league-wide? Is that what it was total? I'll say $1 billion.
Rolsey, you're closer. $1.4 billion of annual money is on an injured list this year. If you want to put this into perspective too, in some really funny ways to look at it, we'll go the Toronto Blue Jays, which have the 5th most injured money on the payroll at $102 million. That is $8 million more than the St. Louis Cardinals' total salary this year on their just non-injured general salary.
Well, you got to draft better, baby. You got to draft better. You got to be better. Get young guys in. Can't spend all the money. Got to draft better.
Well, that's why, the Jays are using all their young guys right now because everybody's hurt. The most injured team is the Houston Astros at $127 million.
I was going to say, can we try and guess the top 5 guys for that? Like, knowing roughly...
The top 5 guys or the top 5 teams?
Top 5 guys.
On...
total payroll, highest salaries that are out right now in the IL. Like, Garrett Crochet has to be in the top 5, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, I think if I give you the top 5 teams, I can give you a giant hint on who some of those guys are.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So you have the Dodgers.
The Correa, Altuve, and Hunter Brown, so I can see that.
Altuve's $33 million. I actually can't tell on this list I have what the combined, who the highest salary is out. But you look at Detroit, they've got $110 million out and Scooble's $32 million, right? There's a bunch of those 32,
which is actually arbitration money, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty funny.
$32 million of arbitration money.
The Jays is pretty hilarious, right? You got Cease, Barrios, Bieber, Cody Ponce, and Max Scherzer. That is a legitimately good starting rotation. The Jays are still in a playoff spot, which is amazing. Did you see the injury today with Jesus Sanchez?
Yeah, the fan thought he said, like, he double tapped the glove and said, "Throw me the ball," so he threw it as he turned away. That's what happened,
Yeah,
right?
but Sanchez was like, "I didn't say that." But you know what? He didn't seem mad. It wasn't like a vindictive thing.
It was
Like
just a
he just said it was a
misunderstanding.
misunderstanding.
Yeah.
But either way, someone
has a
throws your
cannon,
ball and
though.
breaks his hand. Like,
We could put that kid in the outfield. Like, he has a fucking hose.
I did like the memes that came out in Blue Jay land. That was just like it was like a slow motion video of like Jesus Sanchez hurt by Jeff Hoffman warm up pitch.
Okay, who else? Who are the other 5 teams? Did you say the Dodgers?
We have the Dodgers. So who are their big guys?
Glasnow and Snell would be like 80 million of that. I assume that's pretty much it. The lineup's pretty healthy.
It's they got they got a few guys, right? So Glasnow, Snell, and Diaz make up a big chunk of that, and then Teoscar, all of them are 15 million plus.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll on the injured one, the New York Mets are 4th, just above the Blue Jays.
Lindor is probably all of that.
Yep, and they got a few guys.
Kodai Senga potentially.
Yeah, 15 million. He's number 4. There's 2 guys that make more than Senga who are hurt.
Is Francisco Alvarez out at the moment? No.
No, but the guys are
hitters or pitchers?
Let me just go back to the list, make sure I have this right. They're both hitters. One's an outfielder and one is, I think he's first baseman. No, he definitely is a first baseman.
I'm trying to think because I didn't think the Mets had that many excuses injury wise. I know Lindor's been out for a while.
Luis Robert Jr., Jorge Polanco.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a couple key big salary guys, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're probably not playing up to the level of the salary, right? Like, they're bad deals.
The least injured team in terms of salary?
Dollar spend, probably the Marlins.
No, there's someone that has only on the injured list $751,000.
The White Sox.
Phillies.
Wow. Okay, so lay the $1.80 for them to make the playoffs then, because they're due a shitload of injury regression.
Wild for how bad
they're going to be.
Cleveland are 1.5. St. Louis are 7 million. Like, they don't have a lot of injuries, right? Like, if you're talking below 10, like
but they don't have a lot of big contracts. The Phillies one is shocking because there's like 10 dudes on that team making 20 million or more.
Yeah, I think anyone under like 25 and under, you can't really say they have an injury problem, right? Because 25 and under is either a collective of small money contracts or one superstar, which you should be able to overcome. I think it's when you start looking at, again, and just to go back to my Homer Toronto Blue Jays status, right? Like, you missing an entire rotation. You're missing Santander. You're missing an all-star catcher and Alejandro Kirk. You're missing Joe Mantiply and Jimmy Garcia. You're missing Addison Barger. And the biggest one is, like, you're missing Bowden Francis. So, like, you know.
The D-backs, let me guess, $40 million, and the worst is, well, I don't know if Arenado went to the IL, but we're not paying his contract. But the worst would be Corbin Burns.
Arizona's a bit more than you think, I think, on the injured list.
Oh, we've got Puck and J-Mart who have decent reliever money on there as well.
Yeah, you've got 50, just over 50, but Corbin is a big chunk of that, right? He's 30.
Yeah.
And Gurriel is 13. And then the rest are like 3 million and under.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so Gurriel went back to the IL, that's right.
It's not too bad. But yeah, there's some big money teams. Like, the other ones there's only 9 teams over 50, San Diego, Arizona, Angels, Boston, and then you have your Toronto Mets. So it's like, I mean, the more you pay guys, the more they get hurt. But yeah, I mean, Anthony Rendon makes up one of like 30 million of the 57 that's on the Angels IL. Like, I don't even feel like he should count.
Do the Rockies still have Chris Bryant on the books?
Let me check what Colorado's up to. Colorado's they've got $46 million on the injured list.
And it's all Chris Bryant.
And Chris Bryant is 27 of them. And the next is Quintana at 6.
Chris Bryant might not be able to like run again from the last report. Like, he can't do physical activity. He's got 3 more years at 27 million.
That's really heartbreaking, actually, though.
Yeah. He could have been anything.
And then, you have teams that are like the Marlins, right? Like, they're up to about $4 million, but it's like Ronnie Enriquez, Andrew Nardi, Yuri Perez, who's on $800,000 a year, by the way.
Rest in peace, by the way.
Griffin Conine and Robbie Snelling. So they, like some teams, it's interesting to look at all that. But yeah, so there's $3.4 million in healthy money and 1.4 million in injured money.
So there's no money, really.
There's no money.
There's no money.
And there's $218 million of retained money being paid right now in Major League Baseball. That's crazy. Brandon, but it makes sense. Like guys like Brandon Woodruff are getting $10 million to not be on their team.
Arenado.
I was going to say the Cardinals are probably paying half of that, but let's move on. Just quickly before we get to Destiny Draft, because we do need to get there quickly. Just on those injuries, and we'll tie this into the sort of the AL Rookie of the Year race that we were talking about last week. How are you playing that now, Spoon? With Murakami out, they're saying maybe 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, he was obviously the front runner. We spoke about Travis Bazzana maybe being sneaky value last week. I would think if he was value last week, he's even more value now that Murakami's going to be out for a bit.
Yeah, I honestly think some of the injuries that have hit the award betting the last week or two have maybe underdone the impact of missing a few weeks. And Murakami's one example. He's gone out to $5 and McGonigal into $2.10. That was a pretty close 2-horse race around the $2.80 mark. I don't think Murakami should be $5 when it's a few weeks and could potentially be a recurring injury going forward. Bazzana's now third favorite off the back of that news. Great call, Eric, putting us onto that one a week or so ago. And then Basayo and Parker Messick, another guy I like, also in single figures. Personally, I think McGonigal is probably now too short, but I think Murakami's too short at $5, and there's still value to be had in guys like Bazzana and Parker Messick, who looks really good as a rookie pitcher. The reason I mentioned that I think it's happened a couple of times is, look, this one hurts me because I'm pretty exposed to it, but I can't have Dylan Cease still as second favorite in the AL Cy Young when he's missing a few starts and he was already behind on every metric against Cam Schlittler, who continues to pitch better and better. I almost want to say that Cam Schlittler at $2 is a lock, and I almost want to do that because if I use that word, it won't come to pass. But $2 seems awfully short. DeGrom has been nowhere for a few weeks now. Dylan Cease is out for 4 or 5 starts. I mean, I made the case against Ohtani Cy Young saying that, if you miss 5 or 6 starts, you can't win the award no matter how good your stats are. You kind of have to apply the same thing to Dylan Cease here. And I'm concerned because I've got tickets with him at 23s and I've laid a little bit off onto Schlittler, but I think I might have to take more at $2 because he is lengths ahead of anyone at the moment when you look at the context.
What about Davis Martin?
How insane is that he's 5th there? I just saw that.
And there's actually a legitimate case, but
I'd be taking a Brian Wu or maybe even a Kevin Gossman over him, to be honest.
But his K rate is close to 32% and his walk rate is 5%, right? Like he's got up some pretty ridiculous numbers in terms of what that's looking like, and he has that narrative, I suppose.
Yeah, and
too,
I
right?
hate it, but pitcher wins, even though it's not a real stat, does matter. And he's 8-1 for a team that are playing 500 ball. So
and a team that's been terrible in the past, right? So the other one to watch on it, I guess, is if Gavin Williams continues to surge, right? Like
he looked really good against the Phillies last week.
His numbers, if it were to end right now, you wouldn't say no, but he's got a lot of runway left in the season. And if he keeps going the way he's going, you just hope his blip was at the start of the year, but he looks disgusting right now.
I just think Schlittler's bought such a long leash right now.
Correct.
He could have 2 or 3 terrible starts and still be in front. That $2 feels... I mean, like, Ohtani's been so good in the National League that he's $1.11 for the MVP, right? Like, I don't think the gap between what he's doing in that award and what Schlittler's doing in the AL Cy Young is as big as $1.10 to $2.
So, boys, not to, steal the thunder here, but we're about to Destiny Draft. I've been fired up for this all day. I've been, there's not much you can do to prepare because you just got to wait for the luck of the draw. But Spoon, can you tell us who? It's a guest that you've helped line up, a listener of the pod that's been messaging you and getting into baseball. Rolsey and I have literally never met this guy before. Who is this person? Who are they? He, she, them? Who are they? And what am I needing to expect for these mental games? Because we're drafted in like 5 minutes from now.
Okay, so today's guest is the Canary. We'll leave it up to him whether we use his real name or not.
What?
We'll call him the Canary for now. Codename Canary. This is the guy who had the fade 5 I spoke about a few weeks ago. So he got into baseball through baseball betting, and he wanted to just lock in initially on 5 guys and just smash their unders. He's since branched out and grown up and started to follow, all kinds of baseball, and he knows who the good hitters are and the good pitchers who don't get strikeouts, because it's not just about the betting lines. But this is the guy who put me even onto Simeon Woods Richardson being the worst player in baseball. And when we had that conversation the other week about who is the worst qualified starter, that came from the Canary. So it's going to be funny if one of the fade 5 comes out of our 3 packs today. I don't think he'll be taking him, that's for sure. But I'm excited to see how his knowledge and his growth of following baseball has kind of gone. And a lot of it's been listening to this podcast. I mentioned, when we talked about the lockout on Friday, about how the opportunity is now to cash in on the momentum of MLB. And I've got mates who are getting into baseball now for the first time because the NBA is boring and other sports are having their issues. This is one of those guys. So let's see how he goes. The good news is he can't go that much worse than Paul Grom.
And he's got the first overall pick, but he's got some weight to carry for the listeners, right? Because the current standings is Spoon in first, I'm in second, Rolsey in third, Listener, which is the general listener, is in last place. And Rolsey, are we doing reverse? Like, we're just doing reverse standings for the draft? Like, he'll get the first overall pick. The Canary goes number 1. Okay, I like this. I'm excited to meet the Canary. I feel like he should be on an episode of The Boys or something like that, right? Like,
it's just a bit of a shame that Simeon Woods Richardson is not on the active roster for Minnesota at the moment, because something tells me that of all people that we could pull, we may pull number 810, as we like to call him, because that's what his ranking is on Destiny Draft this season. Well, we will step aside momentarily, and on the other side, we will meet the Canary, and we will have round 2 of Destiny Draft.
welcome to another week of Destiny Draft. We said it just before the break here. Spoon, he's in first place. I'm in second. Rolsey is in third. And Guest, who is just a team effort of listeners, one of them being our next one, who cannot do worse than our last listener in Grom. Welcome, the Canary. Canary, hello. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Canary, now we just need to vet you, both for ourselves and the listeners. So we have some very important questions. First off, Canary, we want to know who you are. And in the terms of Buddy Rydell is that his last name? From Anger Management. I don't want to know what you do. I don't want to know the things you like. I want to know who is the Canary. That's what I want to know in the terms of Buddy.
An avid baseball gambler.
Oh, okay. We can start with that. But that's what you do, Canary.
That's what he is.
I know nothing about 50% of baseball, which is batting. I know nothing. I'll probably know about 5 people in total. Pitchers, as we found out from the Fade 5, it can go quite deep in terms of the knowledge of pitchers.
So is it possible that we see a team selected of only pitchers?
It's not legal, but he might take 2 of them.
2 pitchers is possible.
I've been warned I can only select 1.
You can take 2.
You can pick 2 pitchers.
Yeah, okay. So 1 hitter, 1 pitcher, and 1 utility, which can be either.
Oh, perfect. Then yes, there's a very high chance if the cards fall right, then I'll be taking 2 pitchers, correct?
Now, Canary, we all need to know, we've been dying to wonder this, we've been speculating on the pod. Your favorite baseball memory. What's that moment that hit you to the core? Maybe it's related to the Fade 5.
In good favorite or bad favorite?
Could be either. I just said favorite. I just said it's just got to be memorable.
Memorable is a SWI getting dropped completely from the starting lineup, and now there's no way guaranteed money.
It's kind of sad, isn't it?
He did too badly.
Yeah. Did you fade him too hard?
Oh, nah, Reese can back me up on that. We only really had 1 or 2 solid couple hundred on the unders for him. We got on the boat too late.
Yeah, his line dropped to 3.5, which was still like too high.
3.5.
Yeah.
We still took 3.5.
And he just like limp his way to 2 strikeouts, 4.5 innings pitched. 6 runs. It was. We messaged after his last start, and we were like, that could be the last one. That could be the last time we see. There goes
And
that beautiful bastard.
And if I'm correct, I think that was like a 2 or 3 a.m. game in Australia time. Woke up, the eyes were delirious, and saw 5 next to his name. And I was like, there's no way this guy's gotten 5. And then I realized he had walked 5 people. And had a nice big 1 next to it.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah, so you were in. The under 3.5 worked. All right, I like this. I love that your fondest baseball memory is that time when SWI at 1:30 in the morning couldn't get out of the first inning after he walked 5 and struck out 1 and was later sent down.
And the good news is there's probably not going to be a Simeon Woods Richardson card in these 3 packs. But if anyone wants to go and buy a card, they're probably giving them away. People
I would love it if you pulled
pay
one.
you to take them.
Dude, I'm going to get on eBay as soon as we're done recording this and see if I can get all of the Simeon Woods Richardson
Buy the dip,
cards.
boys.
And I want it signed by Canary.
Buy the dip on Simeon Woods Richardson. Friend of the podcast. We should get him on the show.
He's got a lot of spare time.
He's probably around.
He's probably free.
All right, look, let's get into how this works. Spoon, for those that didn't tune in for round number 1, maybe just again, I mean, Eric did it before we broke and came on, but maybe just give the standings as they currently stand. How the scoring works, just to remind the Canary and the listeners, and then let's get into it.
And how we choose our players.
Yeah. So round number 1 was a very good round for me, thanks to my D-backs. I had 44 points, and second to fourth was really close. Eric finished with 23, Rolsey with 22, and Grom, our round 1 listener selector, with 19. So could have gone either way for those. Each round we allocate 4, 3, 2, 1 season points based on where you finish. So obviously with just one round on the board right now, that's the 4, 3, 2, 1 that we've seen. So for first-time listeners, I'm about to open 3 packs of Topps baseball cards. There's 12 players or 12 cards in each pack. Occasionally there's some mascot cards and team cards, but we take those out of the pile for obvious reasons. Then we've got a player pool that's usually around 30 cards to choose from. And then we're going to draft, and each team needs to have at least 1 pitcher, at least 1 hitter, and then the third is a utility slot, which can be either. And after a lot of deliberating off air, we have decided, it hasn't happened fortunately, so we got ahead of it. If Ohtani is in one of these cards, you have to pick him as a hitter or as a pitcher. You cannot have him as both because it would break the game. Points are then awarded for performance in real life over the next 2 weeks. So hitters will earn 1 point for every hit, run, and RBI, and they'll lose a point for each strikeout. And pitchers will earn a point for each strikeout, a point for each 2 completed innings, and then they'll lose a point for each earned run allowed. Is that everything?
Well, Spoon, you are the DD commissioner and the scorekeeper and everything. The scoreboard inventor, all that stuff. So I do have a question about the Ohtani rule. If Ohtani is pulled and you select him, I get that you can only choose him as a pitcher or a hitter. That's fair. But could another person select him as the other? So example would be like, I choose Ohtani as a hitter, and then you could say, okay, I'll take Ohtani as a pitcher.
Yeah, definitely. And theoretically, I mean, it's very, very unlikely because he'd go off the board so quickly. But theoretically, the same person could draft him twice if they were picking at the turn. And for whatever reason, they were picking 4 and 5 at the end of round 1, and picks 1 to 3 weren't Ohtani.
Okay, I'm glad I'm glad that this even has an Ohtani rule.
Yeah, I mean, if we get 2 Ohtani cards in this
4
pack of 3,
Ohtanis,
it might actually pay for the box because every other card we pulled so far has been sunk money. That's everything. Should we get into ripping?
Let's do it,
rip
baby.
Bring it close to the speaker, please.
Yeah. Give the people what they want. Give that ASMR. Oh man, it sounds good.
If I can jump in while the Spoon's doing a rip, I got to say the spreadsheet for the database is one of the cleanest things I've ever seen. So round of applause for the creator of that one. That is a clean document.
It's awesome.
I didn't even pay the Canary to say that.
It is fantastic.
Yeah, and look, as fans of other sports,
get ready to refresh
AFL
a lot.
Like, it's not that hard. Not to say Rolsey didn't pour a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this, but seriously, if you look at some of the stat stuff out there for other sports, it's criminally underutilized.
And
I
hell,
think we
talk
can
about
handball
like building a guy
it.
up to break him down. Good
Yeah,
grief.
and to pick it
Thanks,
up.
Spoon.
My goodness.
You know what the best part is about the creator Canary is that he takes requests. So if you find yourself this week thinking, wow, this is really cool as I'm checking my team, you know what would be better? Just pop it through. He's pretty good with them.
Yeah, he rolled patches out within 24 hours. You get 3 wishes a week.
I would like to say that it's requests that I take, but it's more like demands on this show. They're not even requests.
We're gonna have fun facts coming soon, like their favorite color.
Spoon tends to frame it in a way that's very passive aggressive to say if this isn't available by tomorrow, things will go.
It'd be great if this
bad.
thing showed their dog's name and then
if
bang.
you frame it in the form of a statement, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, 3 packs. We ready to go?
All right, let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, we've got Kansas City starter Stephen Kolek. Maybe he's a reliever. Blue Jays rookie Lazaro Estrada. Genuinely
not even in the league.
Oh, New York Yankees Aaron Judge.
Wow.
Detroit Tigers Kerry Carpenter. Tampa Bay Rays Josh Lowe or Lau. Cubs second baseman Nico Horner.
Okay.
Pirates catcher Joey Bart. Detroit pitcher Dylan Smith. Not sure he's in the league. He's a rookie. I think still on the IL and part of Grom's non-dream team, Corey Seager. From the Royals, we've got Michael Wacha. Francisco Lindor from the Mets. I think he's still injured. And also from Grom's non-dream team or nightmare team, we've got this really cool James Wood card.
You could pick the same team as him.
Buyer beware on that front. Second pack, we've got a combined card of Riley, Judge, and Pasquantino, which would be a little unfair.
Out.
Carlos Narvaez from the Red Sox. Edward Cabrera. It says Marlins, but he's with the Cubs. I think he's back from the IL this week. Elly De La Cruz from the Reds. The entire Milwaukee Brewers. That's not happening. Hayden Birdsong from the Giants.
What a
Royals
name.
Muscle.
What?
No. It just says Royals Muscle, the Sluggers Power, the KC lineup. And it's Bobby Witt Jr. pouring Gatorade on a guy. Great card, not eligible. We've got Byron Buxton. I love me some Bucko. We've got Otto Lopez, who longtime listeners will know is a cheeky little Destiny Draft cheat code.
Interesting.
We've got, that's a nice card. We've got Casey Schmidt from the Giants, who's had a really good week beating up on the Rockies, which is always a key to success. Not a lot of pitching yet. Jeez, this is similar to last round. One more pack to go. We've got Dylan Beaver from the O's. We've got Jacob Wilson from the A's. We've got Matt Strahm from the Phillies. We've got Otto Kemp from the Phillies. Lenine Sosa from the White Sox.
No, he's on the Jays now.
He's on the Jays? Okay.
Yeah.
Mauricio Dubon from the Astros. Dalton Varsho, our guy from the Jays. Jimmy Crooks, rookie catcher from the Cardinals. I did see he's been playing over the weekend as well. That could be a Rolsey pick.
Yeah.
Jurickson Profar, I think he's still in PEGD jail potentially. Ben Rice, wow. All-star slugging DH from the Yankees.
We're in the last week, Ben Rice, in all of Destiny Draft.
Wow. Kobe Thomas from the Athletics. Devin Williams, yuck. Pitcher for the Mets. The entire Dodgers team, which if they hadn't broken real baseball enough, they definitely broke this too. And you are not going to believe it, boys, but we've got a sexy Shohei Ohtani as our last card.
No way! Wow.
And that makes it even more interesting because what I didn't mention is that each round we draft in reverse order of the season standings. So that means our listener, Mr. Canary, gets first pick.
I will, unfortunately, for the rest of the league right now, with the pitchers that are here, I will be taking Ohtani as a pitcher.
Didn't need to give us much thought on that, did you?
Yeah, that was
It's like the NFL draft when they take the full time for the first pick. It's like you guys have known for 4 months who you're taking.
a pretty fair pick.
It sounds like Canary knew that he was going to take Ohtani all along as well. Look, there's a lot of different ways I can go with this. I don't know that I want to miss out on some of these hitters that we have for the sake of getting a guy who might make 2 starts. I think Michael Walker's probably going to be off the board by the time it comes back to me. He's the guy that maybe I would look at taking here. But look, with the amount of talent that we have on the board, I'm torn between Ben Rice and Otto Lopez, but also Nico Horner is so hot right now. And Nico doesn't strike out. Nico's a number 15 player in baseball, and he's tops on the Cubs. I think just because we saw, if you don't strike out in this game, you can accumulate points. And the way Nico's playing, like, this is weird because I'm going to pass guys like Ben Rice and Aaron Judge, and even Casey Schmidt's been good. But I guess Otto Lopez is in a similar. Nah, look, I'm going to take Nico.
Wow, I am stunned that I am going to get Michael Wacha. I thought for sure. I was already looking at planning on like what reliever I was going to go to. And instead, I'm going to get a guy that he did get torched his last game, but Michael Wacha before his last game had a sub-3 ERA. He's due for a win. He's on a 4-game losing streak right now. He's a pretty good pitcher, and he's going to give me some pitcher points on what's a pretty talented board. Spoon can only take 2 guys, so I know I'm going to get one of my preferences on the way back, so I'm going to go Michael Wacha.
Yeah, I wish you hadn't done that, because picking at the turn, I was going to obviously get a pitcher, and I was hoping after Rolsey went Nico Horner that my guy was going to be there. Still, there's really a massive drop-off in pitching quality from here. Obviously, the best 2 are off the board in Ohtani and Wacha. And just doing a quick dig on a couple of the others, there's 3 guys that have been activated from the injured list this week, which is not really where you want to be. One of those is Matt Strahm. The other one is Stephen Kolek. And the headline for his last outing, Stephen Kolek roughed up by the Rangers in defeat. So, yeah, things are looking pretty grim. But I don't think I have a choice, because I don't want to take Devin Williams given the struggles he's had. I don't want to take Edward Cabrera, who might not come off the IL until later in the round. Similar story for Matt Strahm. So I don't know how quickly Rolsey's going to regret not taking a pitcher, but I'm going to take the only other guy who's going to consistently give me something, and I guess I'm going to take Stephen Kolek. Wait, hang on a second. Stephen Kolek pitched this year?
Yeah, he has.
Okay, because everything I was just reading was 2025 numbers, and that would have been an all-time disaster.
Yeah, that has.
Yeah, no, he's made 5 starts. Okay, last one was this week. So, yeah, he looks like he's in decent shape, even though roughed up by Rangers is the sound of an erotic film, I think. So we'll take Stephen Kolek, whatever. I'll kick off my pitching and probably leave my pitching there, given the lack of talent. And then, really interesting for my other pick, a lot of power there, but we know that power alone isn't everything. Otto Lopez is a good contact guy, but he's not really one of those 3 pesky fish that we've talked about a lot on this show. Does have a fair bit of strikeout in his game. Oh, God. Byron Buxton's just doing not enough, is he, because of how much he strikes out too. Like, he's hit 18 home runs or something like that. He's got 60 points on the season. It's not terrible. I want to compare that to Elly De La Cruz, because they're my 2 options. It's tough. They're both electric, but Elly's speed and base stealing threat obviously makes him a better opportunity to score runs. And Buxton hits a lead off, which often hurts his ability to get RBIs. The Reds probably have the better schedule, although coming up against my D-backs and my Padres, maybe I'm flipping back. I'm going to go Byron Buxton.
Ooh, does that leave me with a chance to take Elly?
I think so.
No, but I'm going to go with a guy that just keeps hitting all year. To be honest, Rolsey was kind of debating taking him earlier, but I'm going to go with Otto Lopez.
Well, yeah, this is wild. I mean, you guys are just gifting me a really good team.
Nico
Ben Rice
Horner is your first pick. Relax.
Yeah, Ben Rice is the best guy left. So, I mean, I've got 2 top 20 players on my roster through 2 picks. I'm clearly
now you just got to hope
with
it can
the exact
compensate
same
for the pitcher.
Well, I think I've found a guy that probably will pitch out of the bullpen maybe once or twice in the next 2 weeks, and it's probably going to be a similar Cal Quantrill sort of scenario for me as last time. So yeah, lock it in. I'll take Ben Rice.
All right, back to the Canary for a double pick.
Oh no, a double pick.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no, Canary.
Oh no. I've only just finished putting my little list kind of together, but that does not include any information about fixtures coming up this week, which is potentially a slight issue. So I'm going to make probably some dumb picks.
Wood and Seager would be good, I think.
I mean, Wood could be good. Seager's still injured.
I am. How long do we have on the clock?
It's a gentleman 60 seconds per round, but you can use the full 2 minutes for both.
Cool. I'm going to do one. I'll do one proper one and one just random stab in the dark. My proper one, because I've only ever gone to one baseball game and it was an absolute letdown of a game. And Boone told me to look out for this player being like young, hot prospect in the league. And I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, he went 0 from 4 that day. It was not good. He can't let me down twice by the law of averages. I'm going to take De La Cruz.
Yeah, I told this story about how you were in Denver. I told you got to go to a Rockies game. It's Reds Rockies. Yeah. It's going to be sick. You're going to see like 20 runs. And it was like 2-0.
It was not a good game. It was a disaster.
Both runs on an error or something.
Yeah, that was it was a bad game.
Okay, De La Cruz.
Okay, and then I'm going to take the gentleman's 60 seconds to actually try through some tiny bit of research for this. What's going through my brain, team? Not a whole lot. Just typing some names into this lovely spreadsheet.
If you compliment him again, you won't get more time.
You reckon?
Yeah, he's a man of principles.
Fair enough. All right. I'm going to, out of no reason whatsoever, other than having the most points for somebody that's available, unless he's somewhat injured. Let's just do a quick look there.
The database is updating if they're injured. It says not on active roster. It does it? It's even color-coded, yeah. It's got everything except for their dog's name, I'm telling you.
Okay. Then, sorry, team. It's got active roster. I'm going to take Casey Schmidt.
Aaron Judge still being on the board is crazy. Like, this is the evolution.
He strikes
of
out
this.
so much.
This is the evolution of this game, right? Having the database and actually getting the figures for how he would score is crazy to see. I don't know if before the database I'm taking Nico Horner and Ben Rice 1-2, but I mean the data is what the data is. So look, I've either got to go Strahm or Devin Williams here, and it's with Strahm. You sort of, he's just coming back. He hasn't pitched in the last 2 weeks. It's just come off the injured list. Do I take him and hope that he doesn't pitch, and think that Nico and Ben can do the heavy lifting? Or do I take Devin Williams because I like to potentially suffer? He's so feast or famine. The strikeout is always there with Devin Williams, right? It's just when's he going to implode and give up 3, 4, 5 runs in an outing? And
usually in the ninth inning,
2/3 of an inning. So I'm gonna in Devin we trust. We're gonna go with Devin Williams. I'm probably gonna regret it because Strahm will have like a healthy 2 points in the next 2 weeks, and Devin will probably have -6. But I'm going to take the upside with Devin Williams. I've been pretty safe, I think, on the first 2 plays. So let's hope Devin Williams has about 6 saves in the next 2 weeks for a team that can't seem to win any baseball games. So
lock it in. The Mets are up in a close game.
It may be best if they just go on a 14-game losing streak, to be honest. But lock it in, Devin Williams. Final answer.
Okay. Back to you, Eric, for your last.
Yeah, the real question is, do I take Judge, right? Like, it's so tempting, but he strikes out so often that I feel like he'd be frustrating. And he's also on the Yankees. So I'm actually going to do something from the school of Spoon here. I'm going to take Dalton Varsho for a couple of reasons. One, in May, he hit 291, right? Like, he got off to a slow start because he was coming back from an injury. But Varsho historically has had some huge series against the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. Like, division Varsho is just a different animal. We've seen him step up at the big time. Recently, he's been hot over the weekend. He had a double and a triple on one game. He had a double tagged out as the triple on the other. There's so many injured Jays that he keeps moving up the lineup as well, which is going to be good potentially for some run production. He's a guy that the Jays are entering a critical stretch of their season. He's one of their guys that's healthy, and he's had a really good May, and you felt like he's been driving the ball pretty good. So yeah, he had a pretty good Destiny draft month in May. So I'm going to go with a guy that has a schedule I like, and on a team I'm going to watch every day anyways to make it more fun for myself, just like Spoon did with the Diamondbacks. So I'm going to go with Varsho.
Yeah, I love Varsho. I think that walk-off grand slam felt like a bit of a turning point for what had been a struggling season for him. The strikeout risk is there, but I mean, it's there with the other candidates we're kind of discussing as well. I'm down to 2. I'm down to James Wood, my guy, but what he did to poor Grom, I don't think.
And me last year, he cost me the title. He literally cost me the title.
Yeah, as much as I like to buck a trend, I think this is maybe too much. And I've got enough money on James Wood home runs anyway that I don't need to watch him cost me DD points with 3 strikeouts every night. So I am going to take Aaron Judge.
Before you make the pick, and well, you just did, but James Wood is in the top 20 in the last week in terms of Destiny draft points.
That means he's already used his good fortnight. The next one's going to be bad. He is rocks and Diamondbacks, James Wood. Look, I'm going to go Aaron Judge. There's some favorable schedule stuff there for him. Like looking at the Yankees over this stretch, they're going to be Guardians, Jays. I know that's a bit tricky, but the Jays rotation's really banged up, and he seems to like big moments in those division series. Then he's got the White Sox and the Reds. So I think, especially that second week, I'm liking the matchup. And look, Judge has been good, but the fact that he hasn't ran away with the MVP award by any stretch of the imagination tells me that there might still be upside to come. I do need to see the strikeout numbers drop, because the crazy reality of our beautiful game, Destiny Draft, is that one home run can be undone by 3 strikeouts, and I'm sure that's happened plenty of times throughout Aaron Judge's career. But hopefully not this time, and hopefully there's a few guys on when he does hit those bombs.
So interesting teams. And again, we all sort of, this is what's so great about this. We all just take different approaches as to building these. So Spoon, you've got the cards in front of them. Why don't you read out the final teams for the 4 of us?
Yeah, so in first place, again, I'm just going to keep saying it because it might not be true next time we do this and I want to get my money's worth. Team Spoon, Stephen Kolek, ace pitcher. Not a great sentence. And then my 2 position players, I've got Byron Buxton and Aaron Judge. Real boom or bust type approach with those 2. Team Eric, he's taken Michael Walker, who was probably the best starting pitching option on the board outside of Ohtani, obviously. Then his 2 position players, he's taken Otto Lopez and Dalton Varsho.
Oh, Canada, baby.
Team Rolsey, what he thought was the second best pick on the board, he's taken Nico Horner. Obviously watched a couple of games against the Cardinals this week, and that was enough for him. And then he's taken Ben Rice and
those are 2 good players.
Left his pitching to the end and taken potentially the worst pitching contract in baseball with Devin Williams, closer of the Mets.
Not the next fortnight, it won't be. It'll come good.
And then our listener spot, the Canary, he picked the unicorn, packed it last card of the packs, but first card to be picked by any of us. He's taken Ohtani and slotted him into the pitcher slot. He's got the exciting Elly De La Cruz, and then he's got Casey Schmidt to round out his team.
I like the Casey Schmidt pick.
He's been hot recently, and the Giants.
I was looking at that. I didn't think Canary would go with Casey Schmidt, so he was on my short list, to be honest, but was quickly removed because I never even got the opportunity. I thought I was going to get an opportunity. Like, he had a big weekend, right? And he's hitting close to 300. I literally thought he was going to drop to me, but Canary flew in. And
he's probably been the best hitter on a very underperforming superstar lineup of Matt Chapman, Adames, Devers. Like, none of them are doing anything, but Casey Schmidt's doing his part.
Yeah.
So again, you can look, by the time you listen to this, the scoreboard will be live, and obviously it'll start from the statistics tomorrow, Monday in the United States, Tuesday here in Australia, and it'll run for the next 2 weeks. We'll get to check in with the Canary as well. That's part of this, Canary. We've got to check in with you over the next couple of weeks to see how you're feeling. I'm also heading off to the United States for a couple of weeks, so I'll be checking in remotely as well. Canary, thanks for being with us, my man. Thanks for being a good sport. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciated it.
We will step aside, and on the other end, we will wrap up. And Spoon's got some picks for the Monday slate in the U.S. Stay with us. We hope you enjoyed round 2 of Destiny Draft and getting to know the Canary a little bit. But as is customary early in the week, and look, we're not doing a show tomorrow. I'll be on an airplane over the Pacific somewhere, heading back to the United States for a couple of weeks. So no episode tomorrow. So Spoon is going to lock in some tips for early in the week. And Spoon, for your first best for tomorrow, we're going Reds Royals.
Yeah, I'm excited for a little Tuesday tipping slate. It's randomly been the best day all year for me. The perfect day came on a Tuesday. There's been a couple of other really good Tuesdays throughout the year. So let's see if that translates to some pod picks, which went well on the weekend pickoff. We hit 2 from 2 there. First game tomorrow, Royals Reds. Yeah, the Royals have been probably the disappointment package of the year for me. I was really excited to watch them. I thought they were a genuine chance at winning that division, and I thought a lot of their guys were going to take momentum from the WBC. Just hasn't happened. It's a good rotation, but they're just not a good team. Tomorrow, there's a massive pitching mismatch, and I think one of the most underrated players in baseball right now is Chase Burns. If you look at Chase Burns' numbers in 11 starts, he's got a 2.9 WAR. After 12 starts, Jacob Mizorowski has a 3.0 WAR. That means a decent start tomorrow from Chase Burns gives him more WAR than Mizorowski, who's currently $2.50 to win the NL Cy Young. Really keen to see Chase Burns. I'm going to play him with 6 or more strikeouts and the Reds to win because of that pitching mismatch at $2.05 to start us off. The second one's a little bit more of a value hunt, but I don't mind it at all. I was clicking buttons and a price popped up that I was surprised by. Tomorrow we've got the Rockies heading into town against the Angels. I've spoken numerous times about how bad the Rockies are striking out, especially on the road. Their percentage jumps noticeably, and they're the worst team in baseball on the road from a strikeout front. Really good with the strikeouts this year has been Jose Soriano. His line's a little too high to take on its own, so I've got his alt strikeout total at 7 or more, and then I've got over 7.5 runs in that game because the Rockies are scoring runs. But more importantly, the Angels' bullpen has not been good. And quite often we've seen 6 or even 7 strong innings from Soriano completely thrown away by a bullpen that keeps leaking runs. And if that's true about the Angels, it's definitely true about the Rockies. So I'd just like to see a strong couple of early frames from Soriano with maybe a solo shot here or there, because I think there's going to be runs coming late in that game. So 7 or more strikeouts, Soriano, over 7.5 runs. That's paying $3.10. I think that's a great price.
Dude, you know I trust you, but I don't know if I trust Soriano right now, man. Like, he's got a 5.40 ERA maybe in May. I was looking at this morning, what he is in May. Like, it's been tough watch, man. Like, he's had like 5+ earned runs in 2 of his outings, I think, maybe 3 of his outings.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. His ERA is like mid-2s.
But I mean, even he gave up 6 runs to the Dodgers, and he still struck out 6 Dodgers. So I'm kind of thinking,
a good point.
Like,
and
he is boom or bust, but it seemed like the worst of those outings here was 4 strikeouts against Detroit. So while the runs are leaking, that almost benefits the total points there, or the total runs that we need. And I still think a lot of guys can go up and strike out 7 Rockies these days.
And it is the Rockies, right? So you're not like you're betting against a team that's good. So I do get it. I'm just saying I'm a bit worried about Soriano. I can't understand why I guess I understand because he's got that avenue there, but I wouldn't be touching him on a Cy Young bet.
No, it was insane he ever got to single digits. It never seemed sustainable.
I'm just glad that, because when you said Rockies Angels, I thought we were going to get an Eric special of having to watch Cincinnati and Kansas City in the rain, 2 teams like that are below 30 games below 500, and we go under 6.5 or something. So I'm just glad that there's something to actually cheer for as opposed to the antithesis of a fun bet, which was always the Eric special.
Speaking of Eric special, if you listen to the pod on Friday, I said an unofficial bet that you should lock in, and that was to Avalanche Tatis to hit a homer. And I specifically said, I went back and listened to it. You start with a half unit, you go to a unit, and then you go to 2 units. That's the Avalanche structure. And he was paying between $550 and $650 all throughout the weekend, depending what game that you bet on. You could have got him at 6s to hit a home run in the game that he hit a home run on. You would have bet 2 units for it. You would have returned 12. You would have had to lay out another unit and a half, but you would have almost quadrupled your money on Tatis to hit a home run had you decided to take that haphazard advice of the Avalanche on Tatis. I didn't follow my own advice, so I'm not going to sit here and brag.
We talked about the total base numbers. He was 250 for 2, and he had 2 singles in the first game. So there was definitely money to be made against that.
Which we did make some money on the first one.
Yeah, over 9. I think it ended up being like 9-8. Keep betting Nats overs right now. It's a fun watch.
Not financial advice here on Baseball Expats, but, gateway to a good time, I guess we can call it. Look, do head to baseballexpats.com and check out the Destiny Draft. The new scoreboard will be live from tomorrow morning for round number 2, and we'll see how we go. I'll continue to check in on the boys and check in on my Destiny Draft team. Maybe set and forget for me for the next couple weeks will be a winning formula. Thanks again for listening. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so. The boys will be back on Friday with the pickoff. I'll catch you in a couple of weeks. Until then, enjoy your baseball. Bye, everybody.